Tokyo must have been one of the most popular tourist destinations in 2024. If you've seen all the Japan content in recent months here on YouTube and have thought to yourself, I want to go now, well, here's a tip from me, somebody who lived there for 10 years, on how to have a great day trip. There's so much to see in the city, and I promise that you would never get bored. But let's say that you wanted to spend a day visiting the mountains and the beach. Well, here's how you do that in one day. In this day trip itinerary, you will go hiking at Mount Takao and get to the coastal area of Enoshima in time for sunset. And our journey begins at Shinjuku Station, the world's busiest train station. Every day, over 3.5 million people travel through this maze, where 12 lines run by 6 companies all come together. The line we're riding is the Keio Line, operated by Keio Railway. Keio trains leave from an underground terminal on the west side of Shinjuku Station. There are 5 tracks. You'll want to go to platforms 1, 2, 3, which is where most of the express trains depart from. This ride will cost 430 yen, and you can buy a paper ticket from the machines or use your Passmo or Suica cards, which you can also use digitally. There's lots of payment options. We will take the 902 Special Express to Takao Sanguchi. If you are taking notes or planning this trip online, do beware, there are 2 Keio lines in Tokyo. You'll want to ride the Keio Railway, K-E-I-O. The Keio Line, K-E-I-Y-O, runs on the complete opposite side of the city, and it's operated by a completely different company. So if you're at Shinjuku, there's no way you'll get on the wrong one, but still, I've met too many people who were confused by the similar sounding names when they were looking at the map, so I just thought that I would mention it. Here comes our train. It is a 7000 series train built in 1984. The ride to Takao Sanguchi will take exactly an hour, so in the meantime, let's enjoy the views from the front window and talk about the Keio Railway. One thing you'll notice is just how dense this railway is. Looking up front, you'll often see the train in front of you or several stations down the line. The Keio Line moves 1.3 million people every day. For context, that's more than the Washington Metro, Chicago L, and Boston's T combined. But the reduced capacity of the tracks can lead to delays, not only for the trains, but also for traffic. Like many commuter railways in Japan, the Keio Line has many railroad crossings, and a lot of these, especially the ones closer to the center of the city, are closed for upwards of 40 minutes every hour. The reason why the Shinjuku terminal is underground is because of this. The tracks were dug underground in the early 1960s to prepare for the anticipated increase in road traffic ahead of the 1964 Olympics. Like many other private railway companies in Japan, the Keio Railway's origins are as an interurban tramway. In 1913, the section between Sasazuka and Chofu stations was opened. Over the next few years, extensions to Shinjuku and Fuji were opened. The biggest giveaway of the history is the width of the tracks. In Europe, North America, China, and many parts of the world, the rails on a railway line are usually 1,435 millimeters, or 4 feet 8.5 inches, apart. This is known as standard gauge. There are a few railways in Japan that use standard gauge tracks too, but the vast majority of trains in Japan run on tracks that are narrower, 1,067 millimeters, or 3 feet 6 inches. But the Keio Line runs on tracks of a different width entirely. The Keio Line tracks are 1,372 millimeters, or 4 foot 6 inches wide, and this is known as Scotch gauge. But why such an unusual width? Well, all the trams that used to run in Tokyo ran on Scotch gauge. The 2 remaining trams in the city still do. When the Keio Line opened in 1913, it also used very similar vehicles, so the line was built in Scotch gauge to make it compatible with the existing tram system. Over the years, though, Keio has evolved from a streetcar into a full-size railway, now running 10-car trains. After Kitano Station, our train switches to the Keio Takao Line, a branch line that's partially single-tracked. Looking out the windows, we see mountains. This is one of my favorite things about Tokyo. You never have to leave its borders to find nature and greenery. The area around Mount Takao is actually still relatively urbanized. Farther west, you get into the really mountainous areas, places where I have many fond memories of childhood summer camps and hiking trips. Mount Takao is popular because it's kind of the first mountain you hit when coming out of the city. Every year, about 2.5 million people visit it. The summit is only 599 meters, or 1,965 feet, but to get up, you can take another childhood favorite of mine, the Takao Tosan funicular. You cannot use a Pasmo or Suica card for the funicular, so you must buy a paper ticket, which costs 490 yen. The cable car opened in 1921. Two cars, named the Green Leaf and the Maple Leaf, alternate traveling up and down every 15 minutes. The cars date back to 1968, so it's a fun vintage ride. The funicular drops you off at a height over 400 meters, and the rest you have to climb yourself. On Mount Takao, there's lots to do. Besides hiking, you can visit a shelter for monkeys, several museums and shops, or one of the multiple Shinto and Buddhist shrines that are on the mountain. Be careful walking down though it's not a very tall mountain, the path down can be pretty steep and challenging. Now, to head to the coast. Back at Takao-Sanguchi Station, we'll hop back on the Keio Line for a short 140 yen ride to the next stop, Takao Station. At Takao Station, we will transfer to the JR network. JR trains were formerly state-run, but are now a private company, just like all the others. These are the trains that your Japan Rail Pass will be valid on, but don't use it for this ride. Make sure to have 490 yen ready. First, take a Chuo Line train in the direction of Tokyo. Most trains will be going in that direction, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Ride it for a few stops until you reach Hachioji Station. Here, you can transfer to the Yokohama Line. Both the Chuo and Yokohama lines use these E233 series trains, which are some of my favorite trains in the whole world, but that's besides the point. We'll ride the Yokohama Line until Machida Station. At Machida, we will transfer to the Odakyu Railway. This next leg will cost 390 yen. Odakyu is yet another private railway, and it's one of the most iconic companies in Japan. What makes it iconic? Their romance car limited express trains. The romance car provides a comfortable, luxury experience, connecting the city with the suburbs and popular tourist spots like Hakone or Enoshima. I've covered the romance car in previous videos on this channel, so make sure to check those out. But to ride romance car, you have to pay a surcharge. So today we're going to take the regular commuter trains to Katase Enoshima Station. Technically, Enoshima is on a branch line on the Odakyu Railway, so you might have to transfer trains. But 51 minutes later, you'll arrive at Katase Enoshima Station, which has this awesome station building. Enoshima is an island connected to the mainland by a bridge. It's worth a visit, but many of the shops and businesses are located on the mainland. Enoshima is a popular surfing spot, and as you're about to see, a phenomenal place to watch the sunset behind Mount Fuji. Have a few options to leave Enoshima. You can take the famous suspended monorail, which I highly recommend trying out, but I might recommend the Enoden Railway even more.
Hey and hello, we are right now in Enoshima. We're about to ride the Enoden line, so follow along.
Enoden is one of the most famous and beloved of all Japanese railways. It feels completely different from most Japanese trains. Small two-car trains run along the coast and over local streets, ending up at the historic city of Kamakura. The Enoden line has been featured in many different anime because it's just so iconic. This electric line opened in 1902, 2 years before the New York subway opened, and these green and yellow trains are beloved by people whether they're interested in trains or not. Because it's dark out, it's hard to see, but the line is famous for running along the coast and for running down the middle of the street at certain sections. The final stop is Kamakura, a city that's worth visiting in its own right. A very long time ago, this used to be the capital of Japan, and today it still has many tourist attractions like a giant Buddha statue. Unfortunately, at this time of night, it may be a little bit difficult to see some of those sights, but what a day we've already had. Once you reach Kamakura and have let yourself be tempted by the charming gift shop, there are JR trains waiting to take you back to Tokyo. Congratulations on completing your day trip. Make sure to pat yourself on the back. You walked a lot of steps, took a lot of trains, and only spent a little over 3,000 yen. Trains are a great way to travel anywhere, but in Japan, they're just next level. Japan is the country where I fell in love with trains, and if you too think trains are awesome, then join our community. Subscribe to Trains Are Awesome and check us out on Instagram, Patreon. Find the links to these and the Trains Are Awesome store in the description below. Thanks so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.